Hello, everybody. Now, the thing with contrast is this. One, contrast is not a dirty word. Contrast is not something to be avoided. Contrast is not something that is an indicator of my ability to be a deliberate creator or my worth as a person or anything. Contrast is why we came, because our contrast is what is the engine for the expansion of all that is. So, of course, contrast is the wonderful thing. So how did contrast get a bad reputation? That's my question. How did contrast get a bad rap? Well, most of us, because of the way we were brought up and trained, we've just been told that there's a certain amount of bad things that are just going to happen, and you got to get over it and just push through and just do it anyway. And it didn't feel good, but nobody ever taught us. We knew when we were young, but nobody ever taught us how to get back to the place of joy and how to take the bounce. We just began to make beliefs based on, oh, this always happens to me. Like Abraham has been saying lately, that our parents had a certain set of beliefs, and hello, Jackie, wie geht's dir? Our parents had a certain set of beliefs, and they told us life is. And so then we watched their life, and it's like, yep, that's how life is, because my mom says this is how life is. And then this is what happens to her. And then she says, see, I told you, this is how life is. And so then we just decide that's how life is. And then we learn about Abraham Hicks or law of attraction or deliberate creation. And we think, oh, this is my ticket. This is my ticket out of the negativity of contrast. I'm going to finally start doing it right. But we have years and years and years and years of practiced beliefs, practiced manifestations, momentum, everything. So this idea that you're going to just stop feeling, contrast is going to stop, and you're just going to have this great life overnight is not possible. It's not true, and it wouldn't even be fun. If you could just blink your eye, snap your fingers and get everything you wanted, then it would be boring. You'd say, oh, I want a Learjet. There it is. Like, life would be boring. So we don't want everything to come instantaneously. I think the key is this: embracing contrast and looking at it as like the engine, the clarifier of our desire. So you think, wow, I really don't like this feeling. I really don't like this situation. I really don't like this person or how they act or how they smell or whatever. It's like, so what is this teaching me about what I do like? So it's the ability to look at contrast as our friend, not as something that I'm so ashamed. I had this happen today and I got angry. What a dummy. No, because that's what it means to be human, is to have contrast happen and to have bad things happen, or difficult things, I should say. And then we have a negative reaction for a while. We feel this way. The question is, some people end up basing their whole life on that and they never get out of it. So we think, I don't want to be like that. But when we practice, we go, oh, this is contrast. This is clarifying to me that I like being around these kind of people. I like loving people. I like thinking the best of people. I like situations where I feel empowered, where I feel like myself, where I feel like really alive. I feel fun. It's engaging. I like having fun. I like being playful. So when we have situations that happen that feel very negative, they're always an indicator of what we truly desire. And yet, some of us don't realize yet, or we just get out of the habit. We say, oh, this bad thing happened to me, and I'm going to dedicate my life to stamping out this bad thing. I'm going to write books about it. I'm going to preach. I'm going to teach about it. I'm going to say this bad thing should never happen to anybody. That's essentially getting stuck in the problem. That's getting stuck in the step one moment of, instead of getting clarity and then finding the vibration of the solution, a lot of the world is just like, no, this should not happen. This contrast should not happen. I should not have to go through this. And what that is, this is the key. What that is resisting contrast. Contrast itself isn't that bad. It's when we resist it, and when we say, this shouldn't have happened to me, or I'm such a dummy, or how could I have let this happen? And we judge ourselves, or we resist the contrast. We say, oh, when is this going to end? When is this going to end? I'm so sick and tired of this. Which again is pushing against the contrast. It's not welcoming the contrast as something that is our friend. Contrast is our friend because it's the only way we know what we do want, and it's because we've just discovered what we don't want. And it's like, well, what do I want? So let's remember, contrast is our friend. Every day almost, you're gonna have something that is not to your perfect preference, because that's just life. The world is not set up to be catering to us 24/7, and we're not gonna be totally focused in alignment 24/7. And so the best way to deal with it is to just say, it isn't that great. It's like, people love obstacle courses, people love puzzles, people love challenges, because they love the thrill of feeling like they don't know how they're going to solve it, digging down deep, getting creative, and then finding a solution. They're like, wow, I accomplished that. And that's what all contrast is like. All contrast is like, wow, this thing really hit me when it first came. But then I learned how to find the positive. I let it go. I stopped resisting it. I let it be okay. I focused on what I did want. I started to feel good about what I did want. And then boom, I got that thing. There's a process of contrast. Contrast is there to show us what we don't want, so that we can then focus on the fact that what we do want has now become a reality, and now it's almost a game, or it's a challenge, or it's like, oh, let's see how much I can do this today, focusing on what I do want. The key is this: if you find yourself feeling stuck in contrast, or like, why does this keep happening to me over and over, the number one thing you can do is say, oh, that's so cool, it's all right. Isn't that funny? I guess I really want to wrestle with this contrast a few more days, weeks, months, or even years, because I really want to get all the juice there is out of this. And I know I'm going to relax. I'm going to feel good. I'm going to let the abundance come. But for now, I'm just going to go ahead and just wrestle with this contrast, because I guess that's what I want to do. Aren't I great? That's the key. When we have contrast, we say, and aren't I great? Aren't I a powerful creator? Isn't this so fun? I mean, think of every day that I'm letting this contrast continue. I'm just building more and more momentum on what I desire. I'm building more and more momentum on what it is I do want. Wow. I'm really going to shoot like a rocket to the sky, man. I'm going to be like, woohoo. And that's the key. Embrace contrast, accept contrast, welcome contrast. That one might be tough, but it is true that we can feel good. And when we don't feel good, we can feel okay, even good, about not feeling good. And that's the key to keeping the contrast moving, keeping the ideas moving, keeping our momentum moving. Let it be okay. That's the number one thing, because you're not going to feel good all the time. It's not possible. You wouldn't even want to do it. So when you feel bad, just go, oh, look at this. What am I learning right now? What is happening right now? I'm learning this and this. Wow, I'm such a great creator. I'm creating more clarity. Contrast is creating more clarity every day. And you know what? The thing that people don't realize is, when people talk bad about contrast, again, it's when the people build their life to try to make sure nobody ever does, like some negative situation happened to me. And instead of going, oh, thank you for clarifying what I do want, you say, no one should have to go through that again. I'm going to make sure nobody ever goes through that difficult situation I went through. And then we end up being stuck in step one, and we never get to the place where we allow the beautiful, amazing thing that the contrast told us that we wanted. Isn't that funny? So today, let's just let it be okay. Whatever it is, it's A-okay. It's A-okay.